Hey everybody, Saribro here and welcome back to the channel. Today I will be going over the best starter endgame armor and where you can actually find it. Now if you find this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe as we inch our way towards 10,000 amazing subscribers. Now let's get started. Alright, so for many of you out there that have unlocked Laud the Blacksmith, I am sure you can't wait to get your hands on the steel riding armor. Probably one of the best pieces of armor in the game so far. I've seen a lot of endgame builds with this armor, and yes, while it would be nice to have, it is quite difficult to actually farm. Now the reason that it's difficult is because each piece that you need for the armor is dropped by a separate divine beast, which can be pretty tough to solo if you do not have the proper weapons and of course armor, especially if you're just reaching the end game. Now also, if you guys didn't know, a decent piece of armor called the Guardian Dragon armor actually drops from a divine beast named Earthfang, which has a defense of 87 and vitality and HP boost. It also has the Abyssal Reflection passive as well. However, again, fighting Earthfang can be pretty tough for those that have just completed the game, but luckily the following armor has better stats and can be farmed repeatedly without much effort. So the armor we're actually talking about is the Aberrant Armor, and it is located within the Silent Icicle raid within a silver chest. Before I show you where and how to get this, let me show you some stats. Now the Aberrant Armor boasts the same defense as the Guardian Dragon armor. This is with no upgrades of course, but also gives you dexterity and agility points. The passive itself is Sword Focus, which gives you an additional 10% attack of what you already have, which is actually pretty great for increasing your damage to higher enemies as well. Now of course you are looking at my Aberrant Armor, whose stats are honestly not that great, but I just haven't found the time to actually sit there and farm this for a couple of hours to make sure that I get the exact piece that I want, which again can be done pretty easily if you just stick to it and keep farming it out. Alright, so let's discuss where and how to farm the armor. You will need to be in North Centauria at the Raid Stone and select Western Silent Icicle Raid. Here are the characters I'm using for the raid, which note, you don't actually need to have all 16 selected, which is actually why this is pretty great for farming, because you only need to run in there with 8 characters, and then you don't need to fight any of the final bosses, and the mini bosses themselves are actually pretty easy, even if you're not really that greatly geared. Okay, so once you are in the raid, what you need to do is run straight. This door right there, we're going to be coming out of later, so just keep that in mind. Up these stairs to the right and to the left. Then, for the most part, as long as you're on normal difficulty, all of these monsters and stuff that you see are going to be low levels, so you can kind of just run past these, and you actually won't aggro anything as long as you keep running. So running straight, take a left, we're going to ignore this door on the right, take another left, and then we're going to go through here. We're going to take a sharp right, and then we're going to go through this door, and then into here. Now we're going to go through that door a second time, so just keep that in mind. We're actually going to fight that big thing right there. Now, we're going to go here, down these stairs, and we have to fight some other mobs. First, I'm going to take a right, go through here, ignore this ice and these ants who have frozen asses, and then we're going to keep running and running and take a right up these stairs, and this is actually going to be our first boss. Now this boss itself, as you can see, is level 51, and it's not hard honestly whatsoever. That's why I think this is great, because most of the mini bosses that you fight are pretty easy to solo, not to mention you have a team of 8. Once it's dead, you can actually run over here to the left, and there's going to be a little small cutscene, but you can wait right here. As you can see, we're already going to be at the door that opens up. Now once this actually opens up, we're just going to run through the door, and then you can ignore all of these little frozen guys and dinosaurs. Oh, hopefully I didn't aggro any of them. Run through here. And then we're going to ignore that door on the right, and we're just going to go straight. Now again, you can ignore these guys right here. We're going to take a left. We're going to enter the lab sector. So the lab sector is actually going to have, I believe it's anywhere from like 5 to 6 different doors. I can't remember the exact number. All of these gates, you need to beat the monsters first. And then once you beat the monsters, the gates will actually open up and you can go right through them. Alright, again, ignore that door, take a left, and then we're going to take another right, and as you'll see, the second door is here. So once we enter the room, we just have to fight the spider, which honestly is not that bad whatsoever. Now, once the spider is dead, the door right behind it, and then there's a second door, and then you're going to be fighting a second mini-boss, which honestly isn't too bad. You just need to be careful and be aware of its tail. Alright, once the lizard is done as shown, what you're going to do is just run behind to this chest, and this chest is actually where the armor is. Now, you won't actually get a piece of armor every single time. There are a couple of other pieces that you can loot from this chest. But, you know, like I said, this is pretty easy to farm, as you saw. It should take, you know, no longer than 10-15 minutes. Run through here, get the chest, and then run back out. Alright guys, so like I said, this is one of the best armors to farm and that you can actually get your hands on once you have entered endgame and are trying to gear up for Divine Beasts or actually complete the entire raid. Now, every time you loot the armor, the stats will change, and I have seen them go up into the 40s and 50s. So just keep farming until you get a decent piece of gear or until you're satisfied with those stats. Now, if you guys found this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time. Peace.